to another class of fermentation technology, and in today's section we shall deal about primary metabolites. First, let us understand what is the meaning of metabolism. As I know that you all know what is metabolism is, we can just recall it once again. Metabolism constitutes all chemical transformations occurring in the cells of living organisms. And these transformations are essential for life of an organisms. Okay, you studied various glycolysis, gluconeogenesis, okay, pentose pathway, TCA cycle, lipid metabolisms. So you saw that it is just not a one-step reaction. It can be a cascade of reactions. Okay, for example, glycolysis, you study that it involved 10 steps, wherein your glucose got converted into pyruvic acid. So you can see that these entire 10 steps which were formed from glucose to pyruvic, it involved a series of chemical reactions which were catalyzed by enzymes. So this is known as metabolism. The chemical changes or the chemical transformations which is occurring in the body, which should and must occur for our survival, is known as metabolism. And you also studied that it involves anabolism and catabolism. So both put together forms the metabolism. Now we are concerned with primary metabolites. What are these metabolites? First, let us look into the terminology metabolites. So, the end product of metabolic processes and the intermediates formed during your metabolic processes is called as metabolites. So, whenever metabolism is occurring, you have an end product which is formed. Apart from that, I told you there are many intermediate compounds which are being formed, which are catalyzed by a series of enzymes. So these intermediates and your end product are called as metabolites. So there are two types of metabolites, primary and the secondary metabolites. The primary metabolites are essential for the growth, development, reproduction of the organisms. Whereas your secondary metabolites do not perform these functions. They are actually not necessary to perform these functions, essential functions of the body. But I've also told you that these secondary metabolites also produce whatever the metabolites they produce have certain important economical values. Just we shall look into this slide. See here, primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. I have already dealt with secondary metabolites, so I will not go in detail about this. Okay, so you can go back to my previous two videos wherein I have spoken about the secondary metabolites, how are they produced, and keeping in the mind fermentation technology, I also told you all that how in bioreactors these secondary metabolites have been produced. So let us concentrate on the primary metabolites. So these amino acids, vitamins, nucleic acids, polysaccharides, okay, ethanol, lactic acid, all these are primary metabolites. There's a spelling mistake here, polysaccharides. So these are very important. These are directly involved in the normal growth, development, and reproduction of a living organism. It usually performs physiological function in the organisms. And some of the primary metabolites, as we have already discussed, like ethanol, vitamins, nucleic acids, organic acids. So, which are actually necessary for the survival of the organism. Without primary metabolites, the organisms cannot survive. And where do you find these primary metabolites at their peak? Look at this growth curve. you can see that the primary metabolites are produced in the exponential growth phase, which is also known as the trophophase. Okay, so this is what log phase or the exponential phase. That is, your cell is actively dividing. Okay, so this is where your primary metabolites are being produced. What is bringing about their active division? It is because of these macromolecules which are interacting with each other to what develop an organism, to give the growth of an organism and reproduce. What is cell division? It is nothing but reproduction. Okay, and I also told you that in phase, that is in the secondary growth phase, we find that secondary metabolites are produced, wherein the number of organisms that are dividing is equivalent to the number of organisms that are dying. And here what happens? The organisms are in the stress because there is constraint in the nutrition. No more nutrition is available. At the same time, they're producing toxic, which is killing the organism itself. And they are in a constant stress. And during this time, your secondary metabolites are produced. So, with this definition, let us go into an example and look about the production of the primary metabolites. I have taken here the example of production of ethanol. How this ethanol, which is a primary metabolite, can be produced by the fermentation technology in the large scale. That is the scaling up of the ethanol. The raw materials required for the ethanol production is the sugary raw materials or the starchy and cellulosic raw materials. So these raw materials, we don't directly supply it to the organisms. What we do is we undergo what is a process known as pre-treatment. Most of the raw materials of alcohol fermentation require some degree of pre-treatment. And so the actual process depends on the chemical composition of the raw materials. What is the chemical composition of the raw materials? Remember that we have many strains of microorganisms which can convert the raw materials into the ethanol productions. So always remember, students, whenever we are going for the large scale production like this fermentation and all, you have to choose the particular strain which can act upon the substrate which has favorability or affinity towards that substrate. Your microorganisms should have specificity or affinity towards that substrate so that it can consume it and convert it into the desired trait of component what you require. So here we directly don't give these raw materials to the microorganisms. Certain pre-treatment occurs like the physical treatment or the chemical treatment of these raw materials. So the sugary raw materials require mild to no pre-treatment. Okay, mild to no pre-treatment, while cellulosic raw material need extensive treatment. So some of the sugary materials can be easily digested by your microorganism, but there are certain components like cellulosic raw materials that require the extensive pre-treatment before you supply this as a raw material for your organism to produce the ethanol. Why do you require this pre-treatment for cellulosic raw material? Is this is because cellulosic substances have to be subjected to acidic or enzyme hydrolysis to release the monosaccharides units that are needed for the alcohol production. So this celluloid components has to be broken down, okay, into simpler molecules like your glucose, sucrose, fructose, so that your organisms can easily act upon these substrate and provide you the raw materials. So this is the lignocellulosic biomass. You know that where do you get this lignocellulosic, particularly the plant material, okay? Either from the landfill waste or even the, I told you in the previous classes videos wherein we told about the how the materials from the kitchen or the hotel, okay, wherein the food raw materials is used, okay, which is being treated as waste can be collected from there. So wood and forest residue, crop stubble, this bagaces, tall grasses, these are all what lignocellulosic biomass residues. So your microorganisms cannot directly act upon these lignocellulose material. They may act, but maybe the time period, okay, it takes longer period of time to produce the product. So what we do is whenever we give the raw materials such as the lignocellulosic compound, we treat this lignocellulose, okay. See here, by usually by the chemical or physical treatment, it undergoes hydrolysis and it can produce the liquid hydroxylate or the solid hydroxylate. So the green color what you're seeing is the cellulose, and the purplish is the lignin, and the this is the hemicellulose. So this lignocellulose is now broken down into either the into your lignins or into your hemicellulose, and you can see the cellulose all three into separate parts. So after this what I can do is I can use my microorganisms, okay, to convert this raw material either into biofuels or biogas, building blocks of chemicals in the pulp and paper industry, or adhesive surfactant, compost. All these are your economically important materials from which you are getting it from the lignocellulose, and it is brought about by the digestion of the microorganisms. So, going into the production of ethyl alcohol, the industrial ethanol fermentation is usually carried out by the microorganism, that is the yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae, although bacteria Zymomonas mobilis has a higher specific ethanol productivity and yield from the glucose and sucrose. So most commonly what is used is the Saccharomyces or Zymomonas. Particularly, we see that this Zymomonas has a higher specific ethanol productivity and yield when the raw material what you produce is the glucose and the sucrose. So the molasses from the tanks, you know, from molasses where we get, okay, from the sugarcane. So from the sugarcane factory, whatever the molasses we get, okay, are diluted with water to obtain a sugar concentration around 10 to 15%. So remember, this molasses have 50 to 55% concentration of sugar in the form of sucrose. Who this molasses? They are rich in sucrose. Okay, that is, they have 50 to 55 percentage of concentration of sugar in the form of sucrose. This source of compound is used for preparing the ethanol. So this ethanol can be in the form of absolute ethanol or rectified spirit can be made out of this. So what usually we do is the molasses from the tanks are diluted. You put the in the tanks and are diluted with water to obtain a sugar concentration around 10 to 15. The acidic nature of molasses supports the growth of yeast that breaks up the sucrose at a pH between 4 and 5. So I have taken a tank which is diluted with water Okay, in a series of tank which is containing your molasses, and you have added water, and you have added your microorganism. Herein we have added the yeast at a pH of 4 to 5, so that what it can do is it can produce the sugar concentration of 10 to 15%. So what are the other nutrition you supply? The other nutrition what we supply are the ammonia, magnesium, phosphate or sulfate is used as a nutrient for the yeast. So this acidic condition, okay, is well suitable for the survival of the yeast. The acidic condition favors the yeast to produce catalytic enzymes known as the invertase and zymase. So the diluted and treated molasses and the yeast from the storage are fed into the fermentation tank. So here what is happening at this particular pH? The yeast is acting upon the molasses which is being diluted and produces the sugar. And this yeast which is active at 4 to 5 pH, it produces certain enzymes which are known as the invertase and the zymase. So what is the function of these? Again, see it later. So once it is diluted and treated molasses and the yeast from the storage are fed into your fermentation tank. So these are the large scale tanks which are made up of stainless steels to provide with heat, which are provided with heating coil or jacket provision. So you know about this very well now, how our fermenters look like. So it is having a heating coils or jacket provision. So if you want to generate heat, you can generate heat by this coils. If you want to cool it for the suitable optimum temperature, then you have a water jacket which is surrounding your fermenter. So here the temperature is maintained at 20 to 30 degrees centigrade in the tanks by heating and the cooling system. So the process of fermentation begins around, it takes around 30 to 70 hours based on the temperature and the sugar concentration to the yeast count. So this all is important. The process of fermentation takes around 30 to 70 hours. This is based on the what is the temperature you are providing, what is the sugar concentration, and what is the biomass of your yeast. What is the number of count of yeast which is present in your fermenter. Depending on that, this R also varies. So the final temperature is 35 degree is attained at the end of the process. Okay, 35 degree. During the fermentation process, microorganisms, that is the yeast, produces what? Carbon dioxide. You all know this. Okay, we have to, whenever we have defined fermentation, we have told that it acts upon the sugary substances to produce carbon dioxide and the ethanol. So my main component is ethanol. One of the product which is formed, a byproduct which is being formed is your carbon dioxide. After the process cycle, the product mixture is fed into a beer still to perform distillation. So what I got carbon dioxide as a byproduct that can be separated. Okay, wherever, whichever industries require carbon dioxide, we give away this carbon dioxide can be utilized by that industries by using the carbon dioxide cylinders. Now, next is our point is what? To form ethanol, isn't it? So during the fermentation process, we saw that carbon dioxide is produced as byproduct. After the process cycle, the product liquid mixture is fed into a beer still to perform distillation. So this beer still is apparatus, students. It is an apparatus which is used to distill the liquid mixture by heating to a selectively boil and then cooling to condense the vapor. That is known as the still. So what we do here is the beer still. Remember, it is an apparatus. I'll write it somewhere here. It is an apparatus. Okay, this is okay. It is an apparatus used for distilling the liquid mixture. How you distill the liquid mixture? You have seen that in your chemistry classes, right? Okay, by heating to selectively boil and then so you heat it. Okay, you heat your product, your liquid, and then you boil it. You go for boiling and then cool it. Who's performing this? This apparatus is performing this. This is heat. This is heat, boil and cool. To perform what? To perform distillation. This is the function. Hope there is no confusion. You got your carbon dioxide as byproduct. Next, what did I do is we put it into a beer still, which is a distillation apparatus. So after distillation, what is the next step? So, okay, what is distillation means is you have heard about this word distillation. What it means? It is simply a simple process of separating components, okay, or substances from liquid mixture by using selective boiling and condensation. Whatever we want, that compound can be separated from your liquid mixture. How? By a process of boiling and condensation. So if I want certain substances, okay, just an example I will give you. I want a X substances, and this X substances is mixed with X, Y, and Z. I know what is the boiling temperature of X. So I will distill this at that particular temperature. Then what will happen? Only this will vaporize and it comes out and gets collected. Now I got it. This is the simple process of distillation. So your next step is the solid and slurry mass is separated, leaving the solution of the alcohol and water. So now what we did we did the distillation. When we did the distillation step, what happened was the solid and slurry is separated. Okay, this is separated, leaving your alcohol and water. The concentration of the alcohol in the liquid mixture here, it is around 8 to 10%. Then what they do is a series of beers still work out to produce different quality of beer products. So the slurry obtained from the bottom of the beer is called as a slop. It is used for the cattle feed. This one, whatever the left out product, whatever the liquid product I'm getting this, I can convert it into a different quality of beer product. Okay, and the slurry, the material, the solid and the slurry which is left over, that is called as the slops, and this can be fit for the cattle as a feed, or you can utilize it as a fertilizer after some waste treatment operation. So along with this, what is there is aldehydes are there. However, aldehydes are not allowed in consumable beer. So aldehyde present in the solution is removed by the aldehyde column. So the aldehyde which is present should not be in the beer which we are consumable beers. So that should be removed, and it is removed by the aldehyde column. So whatever is left out, the solid materials or the slurry, it goes for the feed, or we can use it for the fertilization after treating the waste treatment. so that it doesn't have any toxic effect when you're feeding your cattle or when you're adding to the fertilizer. That is what we go for the waste treatment. So aldehyde is also one of the product which is formed, but I don't want aldehyde in my product. Therefore, I should remove this aldehyde, and it is removed by the aldehyde column. The streams coming out of different section of the column are aldehyde from top. Okay, so you will be getting the aldehydes from the top. Next, we have the fusel oil and ethanol mixture from the middle and bottom stream with water. So, in the column, we are getting the aldehydes from the top. We get the fusel oil. Fusel oil is a mixture of volatile, oily liquids produced in small amounts during your fermentation. Okay, it is a mixture of volatile compound and oily liquid. Whenever you do your ethanol production, this has been formed. Okay, so and the ethanol mixture from the middle and the bottom stream of the water, it has been produced. So the middle stream, okay, the middle stream is fed to rectification column. So remember, at top, what did I get? I got aldehydes, I got the fusel oil. Just remember, these fusel oils are mixture of volatile oily compounds. Volatile oily compounds. And I get ethanol mixture from the middle and bottom streams with the water. So the middle stream, okay, where my ethanol is present, is fed to rectification column to produce a product called as the rectified spirit having 95% ethanol. Okay, so this rectified spirit, even uh, it has many functions, like it can be used even in the treatment of not treatment, it can be used in the hospitals and all, this type of spirit for cleaning purposes. Okay, so we have this rectified spirit which is having around 95% of ethanol. So this rectified spirit is further made into absolute alcohol. Okay, this rectified spirit is then further converted into your absolute alcohol by anhydrous still, using benzene as the third component. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use anhydrous still. Still means what I told, distillation process. Okay, anhydrous still using benzene for getting what, absolute alcohol from the rectified spirit. So as I told you, this rectified spirit is used in the medicinal tinctures for cleaning and treating the wound. Okay, and also it is used in the household solvent also, this rectified spirit. Okay, we'll keep the rectified spirit separately. Now you understood what is the use of the rectified spirit. Okay, it is used either as a medicinal tincture or even for your household uh, cleaning solvent it is used. Now I want what, absolute alcohol. So from this rectified spirit, further to get an absolute alcohol, we require anhydrous, still using benzene as third component. Absolute alcohol with 100% ethanol concentration is a standard product used as intermediate for producing other chemical products and blending agent in the power fuels. The end use of ethanol would be largely in the solvent, the production of acetaldehyde, acetic acid, polyethylene, and synthetic rubber production. So, your absolute alcohol with 100% ethanol concentration is your standard product. Used, it can be used as an intermediate for producing other chemicals products and blending agents in the power fuels. So you can see that largely it is used in the production of the acetaldehyde, acetic acid, polyethylene, synthetic rubber production. So this is how the ethanol is produced. So remember the ethanol, we are taking example of ethanol, which is a primary metabolites which is produced by your microorganisms, and we took the example of two organisms, that is your yeast and another is the Zymomonas. What is the raw material? The raw material what I used was any of the three can be used. But whenever you are going for cellulosic raw material treatment, you have to go for a pre-treatment by the physical or chemical method so that the organisms can easily consume the monosaccharides. So this is the process wherein we go for the pre-treatment, and from this after the pre-treatment by the action of the microorganisms we can get all these products which are which are mentioned here. So the production of ethyl alcohol is at the acidic condition, and yeast can very well survive in the acidic condition, though the productivity is higher in the when you use zymomonas. So you can see that it produces the enzymes invertase and zymase, okay, which can convert the products further in, break down the products into smaller molecules, and we use fermenters for fermentation technology for producing the large scale ethanol, and the temperature what we maintain is 20 to 30 degree centigrades. And whenever we want to, when the temperature goes high, because the pH variation occurs, the temperature because of the what to say biochemical synthesis is occurring inside the yeast, there is always chances of your temperature going above the optimum range. Therefore we provide the cooling system, or if there is any variation that the temperature, we can use the heating coils also. So depending on that we can use heating coil or cooling jacket. So finally it takes about 30 to 70 hours for the fermentation to take place, depending on the what is the raw material, what type of yeast you have used, what is the pH, other physical parameters. Okay, and then we can see that the yeast produces carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide can be segregated and it can go into the cylinders as a gaseous mass into the cylinders wherever carbon dioxide is required by particular industries. After that what we do is we, whatever the liquid mixture is there, it is put it into a still to perform distillation. So after distillation, what I get a solid and a slurry mass, and I'll be getting the solution with the alcohol. So the alcohol concentration, what I got here is 8 to 10%. The solid and the slurry mass, which is called as the slop, it can be further treated to remove any unwanted materials, and it can be given to the cattle feed, or it can be used in the fertilizers after treatment. And also if you want to produce a different quantity, a quality of beer, we can again proceed with this beer still. So still I have not obtained my 100% alcohol. So one again another product what you get is the aldehyde. I don't want aldehyde to be present in my alcohol, therefore this aldehyde is also removed. Then what happens is again it is put the streams coming out at different section of the column, we put it in the aldehyde column. No, it consists of the aldehydes in the top, and it will contain the volatile oil which is known as the fusel oil, and in the middle you get what is known as the ethanol, and then we get at the bottom water. So what we are getting in the middle is the ethanol, so that is what I wanted. Okay, so the middle stream is fed into the rectification column. So remember, if this is your column, I get at the top aldehydes. Okay, I got the aldehydes, then I'll get the fusel oil. In the middle what I'm getting, I'm getting the ethanol. In the bottom, what I'm getting the water. Okay, so this middle layer, from this I have I get what? I get the rectified spirit. The middle stream is fed into the rectification column to produce a product called as a rectified spirit having 95% of ethanol, which can be used for your household cleaning and all, or it is used even in the hospitals for the wound cleaning and all. So this rectified spirit has to be converted, which is 95% ethanol should be converted into 100% alcohol. How is this done? Means by using the anhydrous still using benzene. So I get the absolute alcohol with 100% ethanol concentration. It is a standard product, and it is used as an intermediate for producing other chemical products and blending agent in power fuels. So the end use of your ethanol can be largely in solvent in acetaldehyde, acetic acid, polyethylene, and synthetic rubber production. So here I have given a simple pictorial diagram showing that how this ethanol is being produced. First, we take the sugar cane. Okay, the sugar cane is harvested and transported to the mill, wherein the debris are washed from the cane. And then you can see the sugar cane is grinded to release the juice. And what is left out is the bagasse is sent to the boilers to generate the steam and electric energy. Then we can see a process what is known as clarification and decantation of the juice. That is all that suspension, nothing should be there. That is being done here, decantation and clarification. And here you can see that the molasses is being produced. That is the sugar production process. Okay. From sugar cane only we are getting the sugar. Okay. From here we got the sugar, and then by a process of cooking you have this whatever the molasses, it can undergo clarification and decantation of the juice. Usually what type of fermenter is used is the fed batch fermentation is carried out. Then we can see that the wine, that is the yeast and the sugar broth, goes through distillation column, and ethanol anhydrous and hydrated are produced. And we also get a compound known as the vinasse, which is used as a fertilizer, and this fertilizer in turn can be used for the again for your crop, but here we have shown it as an example of the sugar cane. So you can see the cycle being formed. So you can see here the sugar cane is grinded and to release the juice. Whatever the left out baggage is sent to the boilers to generate steam and electric energy. Okay, and then you can see here the clarification and the decantation of the juice which occurs from the molasses. And here we can see that sugar is being produced from the sugarcane production process. So the sugar concentration, and by evaporation it is ultimately fed into the fed batch fermenters, and then it can undergo various distillation process to produce different qualities of the beer. Okay, or it is mentioned as wine here, which is produced by the yeast and the sugar broth. They undergo a process of distillation step, and then your ethanol is produced. Finally, you have to remember this point, that is to get an absolute alcohol you require this anhydrous still using benzene. Okay, so I get first the rectified spirit, and then I get the alcohol, 100% alcohol, which can be used for the other intermediates. And then whatever the vincent I get here, it can be converted into it is into the fertilizer. So this vincent is the final byproduct of the biomass distillation, which are obtained by the ethanol. So hopefully this is clear with your So these are the different processes. Okay, I got, remember this step. Okay, I don't want the aldehyde to be present. Therefore, it is put it into the aldehyde column. So I'll get aldehyde. I'll get the fusel oil, and in the middle, I'll be getting the ethanol, and then at the bottom, I'll be getting the water. This is what is required for me, which is nothing but a 95% rectified alcohol, to which I had the benzene and undergo further distillation to get 100% alcohol. Okay, this is about the primary metabolites, students. So primary metabolites, you know that they are produced during the trophophase or during the active cell division when it is occurring, and the primary raw metabolites are required for the growth and development and reproduction and all the physiological activity of your microorganism. That is why it is produced in the log phase, exponential phase. And some of the products, what your primary metabolites produce is the amino acids, vitamins, polysaccharides, nucleic acids, ethanol, and lactic acids. I have taken the example of ethanol, how it is produced in the large scale in the fermenters. So you can see that most of the thing, whatever a product which is waste in one company can be, I mean, one industry can be used as a substrate in another industry. And whatever, now we saw that we produce ethanol, we produce rectified spirits, we got acetaldehyde, and we are getting even the fertilizers. Whatever the slurry is left out, that waste product can undergo again waste treatment, and it can be produced as fertilizers or given for the cattle feed. With this, we conclude the primary metabolites. So keep in mind the different steps what are used in the ethanol productions. And also you can go through your microbial technology. Again, you have in detail wherein you have to study about the different products, how these are produced. I don't think so nucleic acid you have there. Okay, students, we shall leave the class. Thank you.